in this topic, topic 2, what we're going to be doing is looking at one of the first of the two kind of sub branches of statistics, and that's descriptive statistics. We cover it in an entire chapter, and it's a rather long chapter, but we do it this way because then we kind of don't have to talk about it again, or at least talk about it very much, because really we spend most of our time talking about inferential statistics, where we again try to draw samples and then try to make conclusions to the population based on those samples. So that's everything after topic 2. But here we are in topic 2. And basically what you're going to see here is that we're going to start off by talking about three relatively popular ways in which to describe data. That would be using a stem and leaf diagram, a frequency histogram, and a relative frequency histogram. So we'll talk about those three ways of talking about data. And then from there, what we do is we start talking about how to measure the center of the data. It's not as simple as just taking an average. I mean, average is one way, kind of a pretty common, familiar way of talking about the center of the data. But besides the mean or the average, we could also talk about things like the median and the mode. And so those would be other ways of talking about the central location. If you've ever taken a class with me and I've talked about the exam scores, you've typically seen, for instance, that I've talked about the mean, the average, the median, probably not the mode, but at least the mean and the median, because you want to have multiple descriptions of the center of the data. And then besides being able to calculate those, then after we have an idea of the center, we're going to turn to, within this chapter, of looking at the variability of data around that mean or that median, because that's going to give us a good idea of not only then where the center of the data is, but how far spread out from that center the rest of the measurements are. And then kind of to the final two sections to conclude this chapter deal with quartiles and percentiles of the data. So that, again, we have a good sense of how far spread out the data is. So we'll talk about basically the position of data, and then we'll conclude it by talking about how scattered the data is, and whether we have a approximately normal distribution or not. Okay, that'll be this topic 2.